And so if you missed this morning, my name is Amy Miller. I'm the Assistant Director for the Division of Career and Technical Education. And this last group here is a meeting concept called Open Agenda. So if you've never been a part of this before, it's going to push you out of your comfort zone a little bit. But what this is it's a way of assuring that the people that show up to the meeting have the chance to talk about exactly what's important to them. And how often do you go to a conference and you get home and you're like, yes, it was great information, but I really wish we would have talked about this one thing, or I really wish that I would have got some more information on this. And I feel like at this time that we're at right now, that is more important than anything. And I wanted to give you a time to do that. And so whether that is remote learning or how to keep masks on your kids, or what to do about work-based learning experiences, whatever that it is that's bubbling up in your mind that you wish you had the chance to talk about, that's what this meeting time is for. And there's a few rules that we have that make this happen. I've got 12 spots for meetings. If we need more, we can add more. If we don't need 12, we can take some away. We can have as many or a few as we want. The topics can be anything. As we talked about this morning, we're a pretty diverse group. And so if you feel like it doesn't, it's unique to you, it probably isn't. There's probably other people that have the same question. And so just feel free to throw that out there. It also means that you're not the boss of it. You're not responsible. You're not the leader. You don't have to take ownership and have duties. So it's okay to throw it out there and just kind of cast the net. If you find yourself in a room where you don't belong, that's okay. Just come back to the main room and Brenda from TIE will reassign you to another room. If you get into one room and you're like, oh, this conversation isn't going quite where I wanted to be in another one, we just want you to be in a room where you're adding value to the conversation and you're taking something back in return. Every topic is valuable and important. I kind of touched on that already. And don't leave today without bringing up what you wanted to talk about. If you leave here with the one thing that you wanted to learn in the conference not being talked about, then that's on you. This is your opportunity to bring that issue forward. And so here's what we have. I'm going to drop in the chat. I have learned that finding the chat when you're presenting is challenging, but I found it. Okay. So in the chat, I am going to post a link to my Google presentation. And you guys will be able to sign up for these sessions in just a little bit. But I'm actually going to wait to do that until you guys can make some nominations here. So I've got some boards here, and then you guys will sign up for the rooms that you want to go into in your breakouts and talk about things. So if somebody wants to chat in, or I will unmute you all as well. And so if you want to unmute yourself, you can, once I get that part done. Sorry, I'm gonna jump back here. Kara, can you unmute everybody for me? Do you have the ability to do that? I think it's under security. Allow participants to unmute themselves. That's what you're looking for.
I just changed it.
Okay, thank you. All right, so if you want to jump in, please do so. And I would love to get the first topic that somebody wants to talk about. This is where I need Kim Ross, excellent wait time. It's always hard to get the first topic out there, so. What are you looking for help for this year? What do you wish? What problem do you have? I see stuff on the listservs all the time. How are you going to handle this with COVID? Now would be a great time to talk about those kinds of topics. Oh, here they come. They're hiding from me. I can't get to them.
Can you see the chat, Amy?
I can't. You want to just read it to me, Kara?
Yep, they're non-internet distance learning.
We have Zoom breakout rooms as well. Someone would like to know how to do those.
Okay.
There's a couple on Microsoft Teams.
Any others?
Food labs during COVID.
One is preparing for the beginning of the year, like the classroom setup. I'm thinking it mentions dividers. What else might be helpful?
Does that kind of cover it, Jane?
One says hands-on activities.
Should we put that with food labs or separate? Maybe separate, different.
Yeah, Amy, I would do separate because there's another one that said any labs with COVID. So
Okay.
maybe we could put labs and hands-on learning activities together.
Perfect. All right.
There's another one about CTSOs if you cannot meet face to face.
All right. Any more topics? I'm going to throw one in here. Work-based learning.
We have one that says how to handle COVID and the shop.
Okay, I think that would go into that hands-on activity / lab. Let's throw all shops kind of in that one. I think that discussion would fit in well there. I'm going to move on to the next part, but if a topic comes up, please add it in. We can still add some more in. So now I'm going to get back into the chat and I'm going to drop in the link to my presentation. And then you guys can just go down to these slides and then click on whichever Post-it note you want. And then you can add your name to the sign up for that topic. It should automatically take you to a screen that looks like this. And then you can just add your names in those boxes. If you can't figure out how to do this, you can certainly drop your name in the chat and Kara can put you in the right one too.
Amy, do you want to explain clicking on the Post-its again? There's people, I think.
Oh, yep. So if you click on the Post-it where it says topic 1, it should take you to the slide that has this, and then like how Stacy typed her name in, that's where you're going to go to type your name in. So Brianna's on topic 7. You can also just arrow down on the presentation too, but like if I click topic 2, it should automatically take me there. And if it's not taking you, you can just arrow down to the topic, and they're in the green boxes on the right-hand side as well. Not sure who typed what to do without. We're just looking for your names. Oh, Katie, I'm going to move you to topic 8 on the other list. So I'll show you here. So what I want is you to click on like this and then just type in the name here. There you go. Okay. So if you're having trouble with that, please let Kara know, but it looks like they're starting to fill up pretty well now. Any other topics come up, or are we good with just having the 9 that we have? The 8 that we have. Julie, I just saw your questions about the Zoom breakout rooms. You're not going to get there yet. You just have to sign up for which room you want. If you're not seeing that on the PowerPoint, you can just chat in and tell us which one, and we can add your name to that group. Hunter would like to be in topic 5. Kara, can you add him to that one? And yep, there's a few other people. Julie, which Zoom room would you like? Okay, all right. So I know some of you asked about Zoom breakout rooms, and you're going to get to talk about that a little bit, but there's 2 ways you can do that. You can either have the groups, or 3 ways. You can have the groups set up ahead of time. So if we were coming into this meeting and I knew everybody that was going to be here and I wanted to put all the FACS teachers in one room and all the ag teachers in one room and all the health teachers in another room, we could easily just Zoom you out to your rooms and have those lists pre-made. Or we could make it go random and send people to just 8 random rooms. Or we have to specifically put you in the rooms that we want you to be in at this point. So I've got some help working in the background to get you into these rooms. So she'll get the breakout rooms set up in just a minute. But real quick, I just found a video that we can watch while that happens.
Hey, Amy. We can't hear the audio.
You can't hear the audio?
No, when you hit share screen, you have to click that button on music or sound.
I am sorry about that. I have lost you all completely. I'm just gonna, okay. Okay. Brenda, can you let me know when you're ready for breakout rooms?
Sure, I'm just getting their names in them right now.
Okay. And so then anybody that hasn't signed up yet, we can work that out in just a minute. All right. Okay, let me know if you can hear this now.
Amy, we could hear it when it first started playing, but we don't hear anything now.
Technology is great. Well, it's a good video. I will drop the link and you guys can watch it later, but it's a great one. We'll let Brenda get us placed and then you guys can go. And what you'll talk about in your sessions is just total brainstorming and support time, and restate your problem, what you the issue that you have and the problem that you have. But as I said, you're not the leader. You don't have to take ownership of this, and there's no homework to do after this process. And then really just brainstorm solutions, possible ideas that you've explored, resources. Is there someone else, an agency or something like that that can help support you in that? And it's just everybody really sharing their perspective to come together and tackle this problem that we have. And we'll do that until about 2:35, and then we will regroup and bring everybody back here for just a quick summary on kind of what you talked about and what you found out and what you explored. If one person at the beginning, you could just kind of designate as the note taker or the reporter that could kind of just summarize what you talked about, that would be perfect so nobody's surprised at the end. And then in just a minute, we'll get you all farmed out to your breakout rooms. Megan, if you can get it to work, go for it.
You want me to try to, Amy?
Sure.
Oh, I don't have participating rights or screen sharing rights.
There you go.
Okay, I'm gonna play through the ads before I try to share it. Okay. This one.
A lot of memories from when I was a child.
Can you hear?
One that's always stuck out to me though was when I was about 10 years old and I was in school and I struggled. And I didn't struggle with English, math, or science. I struggled holding still. And I would try to listen and focus and process ideas, but I couldn't help myself. And to be honest, I would sit there and then I would just start tapping. And the students in the class would look at me and they'd say, "Hey, stop tapping." A lot of the time, I didn't even realize I was doing it. And then eventually even the teachers got after me and they would yell at me and they'd say, "Clint, you have to stop tapping." It got so bad that I got sent to the principal's office for tapping. And he said to me, "Okay, maybe when you go back to class, just try sitting on your hands." And so I did. I went back to class, and when I felt myself starting to tap, I did this. I sat on my hands. And that worked for about 5 seconds. One time I was tapping in class, and my teacher, Mr. Jensen, he looked at me and he yelled. And he said, "Clint, stay after class." And I thought to myself, this is it. I am done. Now, I've always been the type of person that believes that a single moment in time can change a person's life. And this was one of those moments for me. And I will never forget it. And so I was sitting there with Mr. Jensen and an empty classroom. And he walked past me and he sat next to his desk and he said, "Clint, come here. I want to talk to you." And as he looked me right in the eye, he said, "Now, I need you to know something. You're not in trouble. But I do have just one question that I have to ask you." And he asked, he said, "Have you ever thought about playing the drums?" And in that moment, Mr. Jensen, he leaned back and he opened the top drawer of his desk. And he reached in and he pulled out my very first pair of drumsticks. And he held them in his hands and he looked at me and he said, "Hey, Clint, you're not a problem. I think you're a drummer." And from that moment on, I've never put those sticks down. I've toured, recorded, and played drums all over the world. My whole college education was paid for with drumsticks in my hand. Just because of a single moment in time when somebody believed in me. And he saw something in me that I didn't even see within myself. And from that moment, I learned that there's a difference between being the best in the world and being the best for the world.
All right, and with that, Brenda is going to beam you out to your breakout rooms. We'll see you all back soon.
Looks like we have a few that are
Yeah.
not listed, so.
Suzanne, which one did you want to go to? Or anyone that's left in here. If you just want to unmute your mic and tell us which room you would like to go to.
I would like to go to the one with about FFA and HOLSA and how do we do COVID with
The
that.
CTSOs?
Yep.
Yes.
Which
This is
number was that one? Do you know what number that one was, Amy?
Yes, that was number 7.
This is Deb Kraft, and if I could be a number 4,
Okay.
thanks.
This is actually Joyce Matthews, but it says Max because my husband was on last and I didn't get it changed before I came in. I wanted to go to the one that had the food labs with COVID. I don't know what the number was though.
All right.
I signed up my name rather than his name there.
That was number 4.
4.
Okay.
This is Jeanette. I wanted to go to number 6.
This is Charlene, number 4.
D, number 4.
Okay, we got what, three of you left?
Selbrecht, HSRC, and Patrick. Do you guys know which ones you want?
I wasn't able to even see what the rooms are. It didn't let me in right away, so I was late, and
I'll show them to you here.
It looks like somebody is asking for help in breakout room 3. Would one of you guys want me to send you over there to see what they need help with?
Laura, that's Microsoft Teams. Do you want to pop over there? Is Laura in here? Or Amber, Michelle, whoever.
Sorry, say that again, Amy.
It's the Microsoft Teams room. Does one of you want to pop over there?
I'll send Amber.
Okay. All right, Patrick, can you see my screen with the options? And then there's
I've got 6 of them here. There's the other ones.
Yep.
Could I go into room 8, please?
This is Michelle. You can send me to room 2. I can help out there.
Okay.
The Zoom rooms.
Yeah, it looks like Cindy was looking for help there too, so. Okay.
All right.
HSRC.
Hi, Kate. Do you need to go into a different room? We're going into breakout rooms.
I used Google Classroom all last year and the year before that.
So I was on my Promethean board. Now I'm on my computer.
Okay.
Because the Promethean board wasn't working. So could you put me into the Microsoft Teams room?
Yes, that's number 3.
Yep. Thank you.
Brenda?
Yes.
Is it possible to make me a co-host and then send me back to the Zoom breakout rooms? Because I can't like look at the breakout room stuff unless I'm a host.
Sure.
So I can teach them a little bit about that.
Should be now.
Okay.
And which room did you want to go to?
To the Zoom breakout rooms.
Yeah, which one though?
2.
2?
Thank you.
All right. HSRC, I see you're off mute now. Eric?
Yes, could I get in number 6, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
I kind of feel like that guy on Star Trek that was in charge of the beam me up machine.
I think if I were to do this again, I would have done it the other way I planned, and to have the links prepared, kind of like we're doing for tomorrow, like have the links posted ahead of time, and then like topic 1 has its own link, topic 2 has its own link, and then we would have skipped the breakout room part, but that's all right. It's a technology that maybe some of the teachers aren't that familiar with, so.
And it'd be nice if I could just like merge the documents to the Zoom, so I didn't have to go through everybody's name and click them. That would have made things easier too. Hopefully they're all in there brainstorming really good.
Hopefully. I was a little worried about like the Microsoft Teams. Like everyone that doesn't know anything goes to one room. Like you're not gonna be able to help each other brainstorm on that one like you would a cooking lab or whatever.
Right. I think today went pretty smooth so far.
I think so too. Thank you very much. How were your morning sessions, Kara?
Very good. Yeah, even the EMT one, which at regular conference, it's highly likely nobody would have showed up at that one.
So I was presenting during session 2, but I got all the numbers from session 1, and they were really good numbers. So yeah.
Yeah, I think this was just so much more convenient for people, especially those health science topics. People aren't going to drive all the way across the state for like 2 sessions. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong on my end, but it wouldn't let me do anything with people. It wouldn't give me that option. Maybe Brenda, you could tell me what I was doing wrong.
What were you trying to do?
Well, people were commenting in the chat. People were asking me to move them, and I didn't have the capability. What was I doing wrong?
Oh, to move them?
Yeah.
Just their names. Yeah.
You just had to type their name in the Google Doc. So technically it wasn't moving them. C. Whiting, are you just joining or did you want to move to another room?
No, I just thought you guys were going to come back at.
We'll beam them back here in just a little bit. I'm going to give them a couple extra minutes because it took us so long to get them moved over. But maybe some of them are starting to come back.
Okay, I was just waiting for them.
We have good timekeepers in some of you.
Okay. I was just going to see what went on.
Yeah. Usually when I'm in a Zoom room or a breakout room, the time goes so fast. They say like, here, you have 3 minutes to talk, and then they zip us back. So
yeah.
I want to give just a little bit extra time.
Okay, I'll just hang out.
Brenda, at like 2:40, do you want to just pull them back?
Sure.
Okay. To those of you that are back, you're the good ones, the good students that followed directions. We decided to give everybody else a couple extra minutes, and so we're going to beam them back here in just a second.
Here they come.
All right.
Been given 60 seconds to click OK to come back. So hopefully they all click OK.
All right, looks like most people have found their way back into this room. So, all right. So as you can see, it's a little cumbersome to do breakout sessions on the fly. If you were doing this in class, you could have people signed up ahead of time, but I hope you guys got a good chance to have a little bit of discussion. I was telling the moderators during the break that when I get beamed to those breakout rooms, I always feel like it goes so fast. And so knowing that we only had a short window of time here, I knew that we wanted to get you in there as quick as possible. But if whoever wants to just start out by sharing kind of what you talked about in your room and any good kind of epiphanies that came out. Does anybody want to start, or should I just go down the list?
I can start. I was in the Zoom breakout room, and I have some experience with that. So I just showed them kind of the basics on how to get it set up. And then some of the teachers in that room breakout session talked about different uses. Like we had a music teacher and she talked about how cool would it be to put all the sopranos in one breakout room and, you know, sort them out that way. And some other teachers talked about how they'd like to do some small group activities. And so that would be a good way to split up the students if we go back to remote learning. So just being prepared if that becomes the case.
All right. How about somebody from topic 1? That was the non-internet distance learning.
Hi, yeah, this is Donna Juba, and I was in that group. We just discussed using phone calls to reach out to the kids and the parents as well. One of the teachers I talked to earlier would play tic-tac-toe over the phone because her student was an ELL. And so that really helped with prepositions, spatial awareness, visualization, you know, talking in English to explain what was going on. Even though tic-tac-toe is a really simple game, it helped. You know, and that helps with your younger kids. We also talked about students had a hard time keeping the paper organized, especially because some sheets look very similar. So we talked about using different colored paper when you ran those off so that you could say, okay, it's math worksheet number 1, division, and it's yellow. That really helped kids out. But yeah, we definitely talked about that there's a large you know, population that will not have internet access. And so you know, we're talking about ways to kind of help with that communication.
Great. How about number 2? That was the Zoom breakout. Michelle already did that. So number 3, the Microsoft Teams.
I guess I can talk about it. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. It sounded like, for the most part, the Microsoft Teams was pretty basic, the usage that any of us had done. I kind of suggested maybe doing a little bit of the state training, which helped out a little bit, and that it seems a little bit more organized than Google Classrooms maybe. But definitely we need to play around with Microsoft Teams before starting class using Microsoft Teams. So anyway.
What school are you with, Cade?
Lyman.
Okay.
And Prasho, I'm at the high school, agriculture education.
So is Teams a format that your school is going to use more widely?
I believe so. I think like Zoom, we don't know exactly what's going to happen with Zoom. Are they going to start charging for it? How long can you use it? So that's why we're kind of looking towards Microsoft Teams. And then also we talked about whether or not we could record those and use them as like a lecture for our distance learning students, or if we have to do that separate because of like students' voices for questions. So I think it's different district by district.
Great.
We use Teams just to meet like within our department during the March-April session. And it's a whole lot easier to do than setting up a Zoom meeting because you just invite them in. But that was just like 4 or 5 of us. So I don't know how that's going to work with a class, but it was easier than Zoom.
Okay. Topic number 4, labs and COVID. Food labs, sorry, should be specific on that one. Do we have anybody from that group that wants to report? We'll come back to that one. Topic number 5, preparing for the first few days of school and the setup for that.
I can jump in on that one, Amy. We discussed how it's going to look very different
depending on where you are in the state. So if you've had a whole bunch of cases versus whether you've had only a couple of cases, that's going to look different, as well as trying to manage junior kindergarten and social distancing and having them not touch each other. That's going to be a challenge that nobody quite has the solution for, but we'll just have to learn as we go.
Great. Number 6, hands-on learning activities in the shop or labs. I think our lab teachers are the bashful ones. We'll go on to,
Actually, Kelly did a really good job and shared a lot of ideas of what they're doing, I think, in Arlington. Things like assign tools to the students for the entire semester. However, the issue becomes the cost of that. And so to deal with the cost, it was finding sponsors maybe for individual students or business partners that you could use. That you ask students who are able to purchase their own supplies or bring in tools that they may already have, so that each student has their own set. And then anything else would have to be cleaned in between. So providing a cleaning station for the student use. And then she had a really fun cleanup game, trash to treasure, to still make the students responsible for cleaning. And so with that, it was, I need, you spy something that's not where it's supposed to be, you give them clues, and then whoever is able to find it gets a candy bar or something like that. And then just washing your hands before you get materials, because, you hand out different materials every day. So if you have them come in, wash their hands, grab their materials, and then go to their seat or assigned area, then that may eliminate some of that transfer of the virus kind of thing that could happen. So thanks, Kelly, for all the ideas.
Great, thank you. How about number 7, what to do without CTSO events?
I can talk about that a little bit. We had a small group and we discussed a lot of our local meetings that the schools have individually and how to keep those engaging if we have to move virtually, making sure that you're playing some of those games, doing a scavenger hunt, and then staying very flexible throughout the year. We don't know what a lot of our CTSO events are going to look like and how they're going to be changed. So keeping that open mind and just staying extremely flexible.
Great, thank you. And then number 8, work-based learning.
I can jump in about that one. The main thing is we know that employers need help. So just reaching out to the different employers in that area, say, hey, what can we do to work with you to try to get students involved? Also do informational interviews. So I can try to do either a Zoom, however that works. Virtual job shadows, maybe an employer is willing to wear like a GoPro and walk through their business to say this is kind of what we do, all the way to hybrid resources of someone being the main contact between the two, so that way there's not as much face-to-face interaction. And then once that's figured out, then it's really up to the business and the students to see what would work best for each party. And then a new one I learned was PAYS Lab, hopefully I'm saying that right, where it's an employer kit type of thing for students and everything to help with other skills, like their soft skills for job training and information like that. I heard it's a little more on the high side, but it's worth it.
All right, I'll put a plug in for tomorrow. There is a group from Nebraska. I believe it's tomorrow. I'd have to look at the schedule, but it's trainings that are virtual job shadow tours that are already pre-recorded and available online. So they're going to be going through that. So if that's something that you think you're going to need, that's a good resource. Circling back to the foods labs, did anybody want to report on that?
So we really just talked about the sanitation aspect, you know, trying to conform to industry standards, you know, what the CDC recommends for restaurants and other food service entities. We talked a little bit about the challenge of, with that additional sanitation, the time constraints. And just if you have a larger group, you know, trying to maintain some social distancing within the confines of a kitchen workspace too. So, but just really talked a lot about the sanitation aspect, kind of like the other lab group did.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Great discussions. Wish we had time to do another session of this and go through some more sessions, but join us tomorrow. We've got tons of sessions tomorrow and lots of variety. And so thank you for making this first day very, very successful. And I hope you guys all have a good night.